everyone, welcome to today's video, and in this video we will be going over a whole update. I did a first impression on some new Catrice and Essence products in July and September, and I usually do all of the reviews over at my blog, but not everybody reads my blog, and the people who read my blog don't necessarily watch my YouTube videos, so I thought I would go on here and go over all of the items that I talked about in those two videos. Most of it I showed on my face. I always try to do like a full face of new products when I do these kind of videos. So if you want to see how any of this applies or how it looks on my face, then please go watch those other two videos, which I will make sure to link in the eye above. But I'm just currently looking at a nicely spread out of new products that Essence and Catrice released for fall 2018. I have had a chance to try everything by now, some things more so than others. I do have to say that after trying it for the first time or playing around with it a little bit afterwards, I either sometimes also already lost interest in the product. So I already have reviews up on some of these products on my blog as well, so I'll make sure to link everything as much as I can in the down bar. But there's also a couple of products here that I think people will still want to hear my opinion on, but that I just haven't gotten around to yet. So if you'd like to know what I think about all of these products right now, after having them tried a few more times, then please keep on watching. So first things first, Catrice came out with some new brushes. I believe these are called like the Triangle Artist Brush or something like that. I have to say that I think the two small brushes that I got, so this is more like a concealer type brush, and this seems to be like an eyeliner type brush. Maybe this is also supposed to be for like eyeshadow. These two I don't like. They're too flimsy, and so they have a lot of give to them, which makes it more difficult to apply product, I find. So these I would skip. I do quite like the other two brushes. So I got two face brushes. I believe this is the foundation brush and this is the powder brush. I really like this for powder. It's not too dense. It's really, really nice and soft. It does have give. I do like that in a powder brush. And because of that triangle shape, you can really get into that inner corner. So I do really like this for a bit of powder. And this is just a nice backup brush to have. I tried this a little bit with foundation, and this has an indentation, so the theory is that you put your foundation in the little gap, and that makes it a lot easier to buff in your foundation. I do have to say that it works in theory, but because the brush is quite quite soft and it has a lot of give to it, I feel that the foundation ends up just sitting in there and it doesn't really apply nice and evenly to your skin because it just kind of like loops up in there. This brush also, probably because it is so soft, it really soaks up the product too. So I feel I kind of lose product rather than that it makes it easier to apply. So it is a nice brush. I really like the concept. Maybe I can use this as well, like I use my primer brush, which I talked about in one of my previous videos, the Get Ready With Me that I did, talking all about my favorite brushes. That also has an indentation, so I think this may be really nice for primer or like more sheer products that I'd like to go onto my face. But for foundation, I'm not too big of a fan. Primers were also definitely a thing. Let's just go over the Essence one first, because I only have one of those. This is the Glow Boosting Pore Minimizing Primer with Pink Clay. This is a very glowy primer. It has a bit like a almost duochrome, like pinky peachy shade to it, which I do enjoy, but I don't like this primer. Not because it doesn't work well, the product itself works really well. It primes my face, makes my makeup last longer, but it smells really, really floral, and the smell is so strong that even if I apply the rest of my makeup, I still smell this primer on my skin, and it definitely takes like a good hour for it to like dissipate, and I just didn't really like that about that. It's a shame because I do really like the primer itself. And then we have primers by Catrice. Now, I knew I was going to love this. This is the Light Correcting Serum Primer, but I bought this, I already had one of these, but in a different shade. This is the Morning Glow, and as you can see, it has like a pinky purpley shade to it. It is really, really nice if you have very fair skin like me. I have a cool to neutral undertone, so this works a little bit better on me. The other one that I had, I think it was called, it wasn't Sun Glow. They have a darker one, they have a medium one, and then they have this one. But I think this is really perfect if you have very fair skin. It gives a very nice glowy finish to it. The only gripe I have with this is that it doesn't come with a whole lot of product. It only has 14 mils. I used up the other one over the summer, and I definitely will be using this in the winter time. Catrice came out with a hydrating primer, so I was all ears when they released this. I really like this primer. It's very, very nice and refreshing. And actually, I'm using a Smashbox primer right now, the Primerizer by Smashbox. And I feel this is pretty comparable to that. And this is a lot cheaper. So I do really like this. And once my Primerizer is gone, I will definitely be moving on to this first. Then two other products that really surprised me were the Eye Foundation Eyeshadow Primer by Catrice and the Insta to Go Blur Stick. I have had not great luck with very affordable eyeshadow primers in the past, but this works really, really well. The other one that Catrice did, I didn't like, but this worked really, really well. It made my makeup last all day. I didn't have any creasing in my eyeshadow, and that's usually why I like using eyeshadow primers like this, to avoid any creasing from happening. And this is the Insta to Go Blur Stick, so this is supposed to blur your pores and also make your makeup last a little bit longer. This is supposed to be also something you can use on the go, so if you get a little bit shiny, you can blot things out. I haven't used it like that, but I have used it like on some of my areas in my face where I have some larger pores, and I was very surprised it actually worked. And I felt that my makeup broke up less throughout the day, and it definitely helped with like oil control in certain of the areas where I do get a little bit more oily. However, we're gearing into winter, so I probably won't be using this a whole lot anymore because I have more like dry combination skin, and it gets a little oilier over the summer, but in the wintertime I just get very dry. So I don't think I'll get the use out of it then, but this is definitely a product I'm going to keep around for like spring, summer next year. More base products then. Both Essence and Catrice came out with new foundations, and I tried both of these on, and both were a little, not really like, I wasn't raving about it straight away. This is the Liquid Radiance foundation by Catrice, and they already have like, I think it's called the Liquid Camouflage. I'm not sure what it's called anymore, but it comes in very similar packaging, but this is supposed to be the glowy version of the other one, which is more matte. And I tried that, but it was a little too matte for my dry skin, and it made it look a little cakey. This I love the finish of. The shade is a little bit dark, so that is a bit of a shame. As you can see, it is about, I think, a shade and a half too dark for my current skin tone. I did find that if I blended it down my neck, it did work really well. It lasted a great time on my skin too. And in the video where I first tried it, in the first impression I did, I thought this was making me look very orange, but I actually discovered there was another product that I used in that video that made it look even more orange. It does oxidize a little bit, but I find that if I use a good light enough powder on top, it's really not too noticeable. So this is a good like post-summer foundation, and I can make it work for me, so that's great. Something that doesn't work for me, sadly, is the Essence Insta Perfect Foundation. This is very matte, and it's just too matte for my skin tone. It makes my skin look very crepey. It just sucks the life out of my skin. And one thing they definitely did work on is their shade range, because this is actually a shade too light for me. This makes me look very pale. With a bit of bronzer, it is okay. I can make it work, but it just makes me look about 10 years older than I actually am, so I don't really like that. And then some more disappointing products. Sadly, Essence came out with new concealers, and I wanted to love these. I really, really did, but they just don't work for me. There is a new Camouflage concealer in a matte and in a healthy glow version. The shade range of these is atrocious. I think this comes in 3 shades and this comes in 2, or the other way around. It's really, really dreadful. This is nice and light. It's very brightening. It's in the shade Light Rose. This is the matte version. But the problem is that I can't use this on my under eyes, and I just like a concealer that I can use all over, because I just can't fuss around with, like, you know, a concealer here and then I have a different concealer for that. I have about 15 minutes to do my makeup in the morning. Nobody has time for that. This, again, because it's matte, it makes my under eyes look very dry, very cakey. It accentuates all of my fine lines. It's just no-go. The Healthy Glow Concealer was a little bit better, but it doesn't really do much in terms of coverage, I find. It just kind of disappears. So that's a bit of a shame as well. And what I had with both of these, actually, currently I'm really into like using sponges again to apply my base makeup. And both of these, I had the issue with the matte one more so than the glow one. that if I tried bouncing it into my skin, the product actually stuck to the sponge and didn't really blend anywhere. In fact, it actually lifted off my foundation and left little gaps everywhere. So also the application of these wasn't really great. And I tried both with a sponge, with a brush, and my fingers. My fingers worked the best with both of them. But yeah, I just don't really like getting my hands all dirty when I do my makeup. So these aren't my favorite. We had some new powders, and the Essence one is a little bit more successful for me than the Catrice, and that has to do with the shade range. As you can see, this is a very pink toned powder, but that actually works really well for my skin tone. And I do quite like the Essence powder, so I definitely will be using this at some point. It also comes with 10 grams of product, so that's great. And then we have the Catrice Prime and Fine Luminizing Powder, waterproof in Radiant Beige. I already used one up in the transparent or like the universal shade that they do in this, and I really like this powder, but this shade makes me look orange. This is the product that made my foundation look very orange in the other video that I did, more so than the foundation itself, I felt. This just made it a lot worse. So this is not for me. If the shade is a good match for you, then definitely try this, because this is a very nice powder, but the shade, no. Then we have cheek products. Catrice came out with a contour stick, which I think is a little bit late to the game, because I think everybody's a little bit over contouring, at least I am. But I do have to say that for a cream contour, and me being a cream contour newbie, I was able to make this work. In real life, I feel it doesn't look like much, but it does show up better on camera. So this is definitely a nice product to wear when you go on camera or when you have a photo shoot or something like that. This is really nice, blends in nicely, looks great. Just a really nice contour stick. I was very surprised with that. We have some palettes as well. So both Essence and Catrice came out with some new palettes. Catrice came out with a Shape in a Box contouring palette. So you get a translucent powder, you get a, think like a more banana powder like, and then a contour shade. And this is actually really nice. I do have to say that they used to do like a highlighter contour combo, which came in like a duo, which they've now like long since discontinued, but I prefer that over this because this is a little bit powdery and therefore a little bit chalky, and it makes it a bit more difficult to blend. You can still make this work, but I still have my old one and I like that better. Essence came out with a highlighting palette, which looks like this. I did really like this, but I do feel that the shades in here aren't necessarily my cup of tea. So the quality of these highlighters is pretty nice, but I have shades like this that work better for me. They all pull a little bit more icy than what you might expect from in the pan as well. I find that an issue with many affordable highlighters, especially by Essence and Catrice. They look really nice and like champagne-like in the pan, but then when you put it on, it has like an icy undertone that doesn't show up until you apply it. And I feel that all of these had that. Sticking to highlighters, then Catrice came out with these. These are the 3D Glow highlighters. I got two shades. This is the lightest one. This is the one that works best on me. This is a great highlighter. I really like this. It has a really nice creamy texture. It just goes on well. It really adds a nice glow to the skin. I really like these. And this is the pink one, which I do really like, but sadly it's too dark for me to work as a highlight. I can use it as a very glowy blush, but I find it's a bit too glowy to really be wearing as a blush. So the shade sadly isn't a match. And then we have two blushes. Essence came out with a new matte touch blush. So these have replaced the silky touch blushes, I think they were called. I actually never tried those, but I think this is very similar in concept. This is a really, really great affordable blush. This works well. It's one of those barely there shades, which I personally love. And yeah, this is a great blush. Another great blush, Catrice came out with these blush boxes. This is in the palest shade. It comes in 6 shades in total. And I do really like this, but I have too many shades like this already in my collection. So was this a necessary purchase? No, but it is a good quality blush. If I had to pick between the two, I would go for the Essence over the Catrice though. So that may be good to know. We have some like brows and mascara. I use this eyebrow pencil not enough yet to really have an opinion about it, because I'm that person who likes using up a brow product before she starts working on something else. So I'm just being very honest with you that this isn't necessarily something I've tried a whole lot. I did do my brows with it once or twice and it looks okay, but I won't be able to really review this until I get around to using it a bit more. Something I was very happy with when I first started using it is the Volume Hero mascara. This is the waterproof version, which is new to Essence's line this time round, and I really like it. It separates my lashes. It is waterproof. It makes sure your mascara and your curl last all day. What I find though, however, is that, and that's an issue I've had with a lot of Essence mascaras, is that this dries out really, really quickly. I think I'm filming this, yeah, it's halfway October now, and I've already stopped using it because it's dried up. So it made my lashes suddenly very clumpy. It didn't separate that well anymore, and it just became messy all over the place. So while I like the mascara, and one of the downsides to Essence is that I feel that you need to repurchase them way too quickly after starting using them. So I liked it while it lasted. And then we have palettes. Now, there are two palettes that I was very, very bummed out about. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this. This was a disaster. I used this in my video. You can see it in there. Dreadful. Don't get it. The Glitterizer palette by Catrice. It looks really nice, but in the end, I only end up using one shade every single time, which is this one, which is really nice. Like, it looks like a white, but it actually has a duochrome to it. Everything else in here, overspray. Really, really bad overspray. Now that I've used it a couple of times, you can actually see that the shimmer in this is actually disappearing. So the shimmer isn't all the way in the pan, I feel. So this is not something I'm really a really big fan of. Two things that I was, again, quite surprised by were the other eyeshadow palettes I got. I didn't use this in the video. This is the Blazing Bronze eyeshadow palette, and I really like the color scheme of this. Now, I know not everybody is a fan of these little Catrice palettes, but I can make them work. I do want to say that it's just one look that you can create with this. There's not a whole lot of variety in this. Not enough variety between matte and shimmer. It all kind of like blends very quickly together if you're not very careful. But I was able to pull a really nice look out of this, and I was very happy with this. So this will be sticking around for a little bit longer. But the surprise, I have to say, is the Essence Beautiful eyeshadow palette. Did I need another new eyeshadow palette that was all neutrals? No. But this is really nice. It is a little bit powdery, a little bit soft, maybe a little bit on the chalky side, but in terms of eyeshadow, and I'm not a big fan of Essence eyeshadow palettes, but this is good. This is good stuff, and it's only $6.99, so this is a good little palette. And then we have lips left, starting with, let's do Catrice. I got a couple of new things to try by them, and while pretty, these aren't my cup of tea. I like something bold, something matte, like what I'm wearing today, though this isn't fully matte. But I like something that just lasts on my lips all day. So the volumizing lip balm, nice lip balm, but not something that I will be busting out on like a daily basis. I might start using this because I do feel it definitely works as a lip balm. So it does do that. So I can use this before I do my makeup, I think, so that's okay. The Duo Full Lips was a little bit underwhelming to me. It is a very comfortable everyday lipstick. I do have to say that. But it doesn't last very long. It disappears from the lips straight away almost. But yeah, if you're into natural lipsticks, then this is nice. It's just not my cup of tea. And then I had the Volumizing Lip Booster. This does a little bit more volumizing than the lip balm, which I tried for you in the video. And this is actually quite nice. It does add a little bit of shine. But again, I'm not into shiny lips, so this was fun to try, but I don't think I'll be using this a whole lot. And some Essence stuff. Essence came out with some new lipsticks. These are the new Velvet Matte lipsticks. This is a nice shade, nothing too offensive, and these Essence lipsticks are nice and very affordable, and I do really like the shade this has. And then the two biggest surprises, you could say, were the Melted Chrome liquid lipstick and the Glitter Switch liquid lipstick. So these are actually quite fun. This is definitely a metallic lipstick, and this is like a rosy duochrome shade. It doesn't last very well, I have to say. It does disappear quite quickly. It doesn't have that dry down, and I do want, like, if I wear a liquid lip and I go to the trouble of trying to apply it correctly, then I do want it to like stay put for the rest of the day. So this doesn't do that, but it is a very fun shade. But what I was most impressed by was this Glitter Switch. This actually works. So this just goes on and it looks okay, but then when you press your lips together like that, you get a really nice pop of glitter in there. This is a really nice burgundy shade with like a pinky purpley glitter to it. So it looks really nice. I think this is a great fun thing to wear for a Halloween or for like the holidays. Again, it doesn't last the longest, and I do have to say that as it wears off, the glitter kind of stays on your lips, but it is a really nice lip product, and I think it's very inventive and definitely an affordable way to add a fun element to your makeup look. So yeah, I did really like that. So those were all of the products I wanted to talk to you about. I think I had a pretty good, solid opinion about everything that I showed you again today. So yeah, I really would like to know whether you like this kind of video. I think it's been requested by a few people here and there, but this is the first time I'm doing a whole update. So let me know in a comment down below if you'd like to see more of these videos, if I've tried new products, to go live and tell you a little bit more about them, because I could do that, of course, because I do tend to buy makeup every once in a while. So we could do that. So let me know if you'd like to see more of that. For now, I would very much appreciate it if you could thumbs up this video, because that helps getting my videos out there. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, then please subscribe, because I make new videos twice a week, on Thursday and on Sunday, 5 a.m. Central European time. That's when my videos go live. So I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!